The first point of education for the 2023 and 24 NBA season that we will review is freedom of movement and contact on screens. The highlighted offensive player, Thomas Bryant, does not give his opponent, Trey Murphy III, an opportunity to avoid the contact, and an illegal screen was correctly called by the trail official. To be considered legal, the screener must get directly into his opponent's path and give him the opportunity to avoid contact. Keep your eye on the highlighted offensive player, Jakob Poeltl, as he sets a screen here for his teammate, Fred VanVleet. Poeltl sets his legs too wide, outside shoulder width, and as the defender, Alex Caruso, attempts to go over the screen, he trips over Poeltl's extended leg. An offensive foul for an illegal screen was correctly called on this play. On this next example, the highlighted offensive player, Daniel Gafford, will set a screen with his legs wide, outside shoulder width. The trailing on-ball defender, Donovan Mitchell, attempts to go over the screen, but he trips over Gafford's extended leg. An offensive foul for an illegal screen was needed here. The final play in this section is another example of a screener affecting a defensive player's freedom of movement. The highlighted offensive player, Alex Len, moves to set a screen, but he then extends both arms and he pushes the on-ball defender, Malachi Branham. This illegal contact clearly affects Branham's ability to play defense, and the offensive foul was called correctly by the trail official. Now, let's look at some examples of defensive players affecting offensive players' freedom of movement on the perimeter. The highlighted defensive player, Goga Bitadze, will move into the path of his opponent, Jalen Duren, and he uses his shoulder to initiate illegal contact as he delivers a blow to Duren. This off-ball contact, initiated by Bitadze, is illegal, and a defensive foul was needed on this play. Keep your eye on the highlighted defensive player on this next play. The defender, Jaylen Brown, grabs his opponent, Bam Adebayo, around the midsection, clearly affecting Adebayo's freedom of movement as he attempts to roll to the basket. This is illegal contact by Brown, and the defensive foul was correctly called. The freedom of movement guidelines on the perimeter include illegal contact initiated by offensive players as well. Here we will see the highlighted offensive player, Jalen Suggs, push off his legal defender, Ricky Rubio, in an effort to receive the pass from his teammate. This contact initiated by Suggs is more than marginal, and an offensive foul was correctly called by the slot official. As we know, the freedom of movement guidelines extend from the perimeter into the post area. Here, the highlighted defensive post player, Brandon Ingram, moves into the path of the offensive player, Aaron Gordon, and he initiates illegal contact with Gordon. The replay shows the illegal contact quite clearly, and the defensive foul on Ingram was correctly called on this play. Next, we will look at an example of illegal contact initiated by an offensive player in the post. The highlighted offensive post player, Jaren Jackson Jr., uses his right arm to initiate illegal contact as he clamps and holds the right arm of his defender, JaMychal Green. This is illegal contact by Jackson, and the offensive foul was correctly called by the trail official. The next point of education to review is traveling. This first play will show an example of an offensive player taking too many steps after gathering the ball. The offensive player, Kyrie Irving, gathers the ball with his right foot on the floor, and he then commits a traveling violation by taking more than the allowed 2 steps before releasing the ball on his shot attempt. Remember, players are only allowed 2 steps after ending their dribble and gathering the ball. Similar to the previous play, here we will see another example of an offensive player taking too many steps after gathering the ball. The offensive player, Jordan Poole, gathers the ball with his left foot on the floor, and he then steps with his right, then his left, and then his right again before finally releasing the ball on his shot attempt. A traveling violation was needed on this play. Next, we will see an example of what is commonly referred to as an axis travel. The offensive player, Anthony Davis, receives the pass from his teammate, and he establishes his left foot as his pivot foot. Davis then slides and moves that left foot, repositioning it multiple times. This is illegal footwork, and the traveling violation is correctly called by the trail official. Our final example in the traveling section shows a violation in the post that occurs after the offensive player has gathered the ball. The offensive post player, Harrison Barnes, gathers the ball with his left foot on the floor, and he takes more than the allowed 2 steps before attempting a field goal. This is a traveling violation, and it was correctly called here.